That time Donald Trump saved the NYC Veterans Day Parade. So let's rewind the tape to 1995. New York City, once the beating heart of the world, is flat broke, and so is the Veterans Day Parade. I mean, it's a disgrace. Our boys, who risked their lives for our freedom, can't even get a decent parade in their honor. But in comes Donald J. Trump, not President Trump. Not yet, just businessman Trump. He sees what's going down and he says, "Not on my watch." He pulls out his checkbook and writes a fat one. I'm talking $200,000 to help save the parade. But he doesn't stop there. Oh no. He goes to his rich friends, he goes to the big businesses in New York, and he says, "You're going to chip in too. You're going to show some respect for our veterans." And you know what? They did. With Trump leading the charge, they raised over $3 million for the parade. And so, on November 11th, 1995, New York City sees one of the largest Veterans Day parades in its history, with more than 500,000 people showing up. There's marching bands, there's floats, there's our brave vets standing tall and proud. All thanks to one man, Donald J. Trump. Now the media, they don't like to talk about this. Doesn't fit their narrative of Trump being this heartless, greedy bastard. But this is who the man really is. He's a patriot, a champion for our troops, a guy who stepped up when no one else would.
Let's raise the price. Let's cut back production. Can you believe it? You're going to be paying $5 and $6 a gallon for gasoline pretty soon. And they want to go in and raise the price of oil because we have nobody in Washington that sits back and said, "You're not going to raise that fucking price." You understand?
I think looking back on this 10 years from now, assuming we're still around, I think we're going to see Trump's emergence as the most significant thing to happen in American politics in 100 years, because he reoriented the Republican Party against the wishes of Republican leaders. But when I think about Trump right now, so it's July of 2023, I'm struck by his foreign policy views. Trump is the only person with stature in the Republican Party, really, who's saying, wait a second, why are we supporting an endless war in Ukraine? All I can say at this point is I'm so grateful that he has that position. He's right. And everyone in Washington's wrong. Everyone. And Trump is right on that question. And it's a big question. That war is reshaping the world. It's reshaping the economy of the world. It's reshaping populations. I was just in Romania last week, which is, of course, shares a border with Ukraine. The refugees in that region, the number of people killed in that war, Europe will never be the same because of this war. And it really matters. And Trump alone among popular figures in both parties understands that, and I'm grateful for it. Whether he gets the nomination or gets elected, words really matter. Saying something true out loud matters. And he is saying true things about Ukraine, and God bless him.
Have you ever heard this president say one negative thing about white supremacists? Have you ever heard it? He wouldn't even condemn David Duke, for God's sake.
Well, you've got David Duke just joined. A bigot, a racist, a problem.
David Duke is a bad person who I disavowed on numerous occasions over the years.
I totally disavow the Ku Klux Klan. I totally disavow David Duke. I've been doing it now for 2 weeks. You're probably about the 18th person that's asked me the question.
How many times do I have to reject? I've rejected David Duke. I've rejected the KKK, the Ku Klux Klan. From the time I'm 5 years old, I rejected them. I have been asked this question so many times. How many times do I have to reject or disavow?
And I'm not talking about the neo-Nazis and the white nationalists, because they should be condemned totally.
Racism is evil. And those who cause violence in its name are criminals and thugs, including the KKK, neo-Nazis, white supremacists. In one voice, our nation must condemn racism, bigotry, and white supremacy.
Look at this Trump rally. Somebody climbed a tree and filmed all around, and it is really amazing. Usually you can't see. You just kind of look around from the ground or whatever, but you don't see the magnitude of the amount of people that are there. It's crazy. Take a look.
Pennsylvania, Michigan, and then late in the evening or early in the morning, boom, there's explosions of bullshit. You see, I wonder if he enjoyed his flight in. He stands up like, you're more difficult. Well, I'd like to congratulate the victor. The victor? Who is the victor, man? I'd like to congratulate. They don't go and look at the facts. I don't know. He got slaughtered, probably. Maybe it was okay. Maybe it was, that's what happened. But we look at the facts.
Now I want to take this opportunity to give you some advice. Over the course of your life, you will find that things are not always fair. You will find that things happen to you that you do not deserve and that are not always warranted. But you have to put your head down and fight, fight, fight. Never, ever, ever give up. Things will work out just fine. Look at the way I've been treated lately. No politician in history has been treated worse or more unfairly. You can't let them get you down. You can't let the critics and the naysayers get in the way of your dreams. Adversity makes you stronger. Don't give in, don't back down, and never stop doing what you know is right.
Putin's a killer. A lot of killers. We got a lot of killers. Why, you think our country's so innocent? You think our country's so innocent?
I don't know of any government leaders that are killers in America.
Well, take a look at what we've done too. We've made a lot of mistakes. I've been against the war in Iraq from the beginning.
Yeah, mistakes are different than...
A lot of mistakes, okay, but a lot of people were killed. So, a lot of killers around, believe me.
My hat don't hang on the same nail too long. My ears can't stand to hear the same old song. And I don't leave the highway long enough to walk down in the mud. 'Cause I got a rambling fever in my blood. I caught this rambling fever long ago.
Okay.
Hey, Drew boy. Drew.
Anybody else? Now you registered me.
Trump, all the way.
Listen to the people of America. I don't think they heard us the first time. I don't think they heard us the first time. I don't think they heard us the first time. I don't think they heard us the first time. Look.
But you're an immigrant.
Yes.
Do you ever think he's gone too far? I follow the law. I follow a law the way it's supposed to be. I never thought to stay here without papers. I had visa. I travel every few months back to the country, to Slovenia, to stamp the visa. I came back. I applied for the green card. I applied for the citizenship later on after many years of green card. So I went by system. I went by the law. And you should do that. You should not just say, okay, let me just stay here. And whatever happened, happened.
He is exceptional. What other presidential candidate could do something like this?
The crowd is loving this. I would likely get an announcement here by the PA system telling them to look up, which everyone already is. Listen to the crowd as President Trump flies over.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the skies for the return of Trump Force One to South Carolina.
It's time for all of us to remember that we are one people and that whether we are black or brown or white, we all bleed the same red blood of patriots. And we all share the same glorious freedoms of our magnificent country. We are all made by the same Almighty God. As long as we remember these truths, we will not fail. We will never fail.
Not about Trump being perfect. It's about him being against the deep state, authoritarian, negative government that we have going on right now. Forcing people and forcing ideologies on people and forcing people to accept something and then giving them names like some type of phobia for them to agree with them, I think is some type of fascism or dictatorship. When you have a president that doesn't even have to market himself, but he can still become president, then you got to ask yourself, who are you voting for? Do you really think Grandpa is really running this country? Because if you think so, then there's something really wrong with the voters that think that he's really running the country. All these indictments only validates that he is against the narrative. If you think about anybody in history, everybody that went against the narrative was persecuted some type of way. I don't care if it was Nelson Mandela. I don't care if it was Martin Luther King, Malcolm X. The list goes on and on, Abraham Lincoln, JFK. If there was something that society was against or something that they was bringing against and they stood against that, whatever the case is, they were persecuted some type of way. You see, if they tried over and over again and he's been exonerated over and over again, you have to ask yourself this question. Why do they want him so bad? He wasn't the worst president, and he definitely wasn't the most racist president, because he's one of the presidents that did more deals with more black people than any other president. So tell me, why are they framing him to be?
Stop listening to all of the garbage. Turn all of the mainstream media off and listen to what Trump just said.
Most recently, the warmongers, globalists, and deep staters are absolutely livid that I refuse to bend the knee to their next endless war in Ukraine. I want peace. They want money and they want conflict, even if it means walking us into the brink of World War III, which frankly it is doing, and it's doing it rapidly. I want people to stop dying. I want to end that war. I'll end that war between those two countries in 24 hours. It won't even take that long. I will get the war ended. I'll stop all of those lives from being wasted and lost.
Trump wants peace. They want money. The American people want peace. There's a reason that Donald Trump connects. And if you don't realize that foreign policy is a main driver in the battle between the corrupt establishment and blue-collar, working-class America, then you're not paying attention. No candidate, I don't care what party that they are from, none of them are serious unless they stand up against the war machine. Trump is doing that, and it's why he resonates with so many Americans.